Man, recording in progress.
Well, we were just talking about how Mike's going to go see the proctologist tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a dentist. The other
One
end.
finger, two fingers, three fingers.
I think it's gonna be 1 drill, 2 drills, 3 drills.
I'll tell you what, since I smoke my whole life, pretty much, I started smoking when I was 17 years old. My guns have receded like crazy. And now I go to the dentist like once every 3 months. And they clean me out and all this other shit. And I do I'm used to it now. When I was a kid, they used to put those trays of like fluoride in your mouth. And that was the grossest fucking shit ever. That would make you gag and this and that. And that's what made you not want to go back to the dentist. But now they don't do that shit. They just take a water pick and fucking drill your teeth off. Drill all the fucking like shit off your teeth and whatever. It's like everything is like almost like every time you go to get your teeth cleaned, it's almost like a deep cleaning. Except that they don't have to get too far in there and they don't have to numb your mouth for it. But still, yeah,
It's not
I'm kind of
pleasant.
glad I do, to be honest with you. Because if I
I've
can
been up
keep the chiclets in my mouth, I'm good.
I've been up to 3 times a year for a while, and not pleasant, but still better than the alternative.
When's the last time you were at a dentist up to this point?
Me?
Yeah.
5 months ago.
So what the fuck?
I don't know. I haven't had a cavity or anything in like 10 years, so whatever's going on is
Are you eating a bunch of fucking like chocolatey pebbles or what the fuck are you doing? What are you, is it
just can't
cereal?
just Swedish fish before bed every night.
Take one and like stuff it onto the top of your crown, right? So
Right.
That'll do it. Hold on.
Squish one in between the teeth.
Lines here.
What's that?
Squish one in between the teeth. And...
Oh, that's called flossing. Yeah. You just use the Swedish fish to get the other ones out.
So
Jeff,
Mike, you'll be happy to know, Mike, that you are #1 in line for the Lemmings League as far as football right now, because we had 2 people. One got kicked out. The other one quit. So the 2 people that were in front of you are now in the league. So now you're the next one up.
Nice.
Next man up.
I've been trying to
And
get
then behind,
for years.
And then behind you is Terrence.
You should feel privileged, Mike,
Well,
I'm not football material, apparently.
Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep this local.
I know. I'm fine.
The grandfathered one was Elizabeth, who just quit, and she was in Seattle, but she used to come here and see me twice a week, so or once a week. But yeah, so you're next in line. So next person up, next person that bows out, next person who doesn't pay their dues by playoffs, and are out, you're in.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Fingers crossed.
Told Mr. Burns.
I've got John Kimmler is joining my football league this year.
Well, okay, that's cool.
So people go from Jeff's league, they get kicked out of theirs, and they join my league. It's sort of like relegation, right?
Wait a minute. Now, how did you know you got kicked out of my league?
No, you told me about that. I think you even talked about it on the podcast. Maybe I can't remember.
I don't think I did, but now the cat's out of the bag. But it's nothing. Thing is, we have a strict rule: if you don't pay your dues by the fucking playoffs, you're done. You're out. And you saw the whole thing with fucking with Dave Steiger a couple years back over a Demon Tap when it happened.
He's also in my football league. See, it's relegation.
It's not relegation. It's just a bunch of people in my that are sticklers about pay your fucking dues, and I get a bunch of people at my ass when people don't.
Mike,
Simple as that.
If I had known you were looking for a league, I would have ask you to join us, but we've got for the
You
beer
do
league.
those
We've got
partial
Sean,
points. You know, you
we've
do
got
those
Sean,
partial.
Norm,
Hey, man, I was in your
Steiger.
league one time, and you guys do partial points and like fucking home field advantage shit, and I can't get behind that. I just can't do that.
You don't like making the regular season mean something. I understand.
No, I just don't like the home field advantage fucking thing. It's like here's the thing.
It's based on
You
what
don't
you
have a
did.
home
It's
field.
based on
No,
how you finished
it's a
the regular
mix.
season. So what we're trying
It's
to
a
do is make
mix.
week 1 through 14 mean something.
Look,
I
it's
understand. It's
fantasy
not for
football.
everybody.
You don't have fucking one team. You got a bunch of people from a bunch of different teams. Home field advantage shit is just giving somebody free points because that week they got the home field advantage. I don't agree with that. I think you have to go head to
But
head
they earned
with
it
the
over
person
the
you're going
course of
ahead with.
they earned it over the course of 14 weeks. So
I
in
don't.
order for you to
I'm
lose,
that. Hey, man, you do you. That is never going to be a league that I hang in.
oh, that's fine.
I'm just saying I can't do it.
I'm just, you just don't want a league where the regular season means anything. That's all.
It doesn't fucking matter. It's you have a fucking plethora of different people from a plethora of different fucking teams. The home field advantage does not matter in fantasy football at all.
I
It
don't
just
understand what you're
doesn't.
saying.
I know.
Because you have guys from different teams. That's what fantasy sports is.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, in a league that I was in of yours, you gave extra points to the home field, whoever that was at the time. Even though they didn't earn them, there was nothing to it. It's just you're just
No.
getting extra
They do earn.
points because you're the home team.
They have two things. They either have they have both a better record than you, and they have scored more points during the regular season than you.
Then what the fuck is that? I mean, you got a bunch of people. Yeah, if you're fucking trying to climb out from the doldrums and shit, that's going to be everybody.
So when the
You know?
Chiefs face the Jaguars in the playoffs, you want them playing in a neutral field in Nashville or something, right? That's the way they do it in the NFL.
It's fantasy football. It's not real football. There's a difference. That's the only fucking league I've ever seen a home field advantage in my fucking existence. I've been playing fantasy football since the fucking 90s.
Yeah,
And I
I'm
just
sure we're not
can't
the only
do it.
one.
I can't do it.
Because we have 8 of 12 teams make the playoffs. So
Well, that's too many.
if you didn't have this home field stuff, it really, as long as you weren't one of the 4 worst teams in the league, then you'd be in the playoffs, and it really wouldn't matter what you did during the regular season. So that's the only thing.
I can't do the home field advantage. I don't believe in giving points that points are not earned. I like your simulation and everything like that, but it's just like you can't just give points to a team for doing nothing.
But that's what you do in the real playoffs when you
Not
have it.
necessarily.
But it's a 2.5 point advantage for the home team over the away team. That's I calculate it every year. So
Points are a lot sometimes.
what?
2 points, you lose by 1 point, and all of a sudden those 2 points dick in the ass. I mean, come on.
But I'm saying that the
Look,
Chiefs, in this scenario, the Chiefs earned the right to host that game and the points advantage over the 6th seeded team. Yeah.
Here's the thing. As far as the fucking like home field advantage to a team in fantasy football, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. You're making it too fucking like, and you're just creating strife there because somebody's going to get dicked by that and they're going to be pissed off. I don't believe in fucking partial points either. I'm not like, you're
I don't
going to
like
get
that either.
point
We have
fucking
whole points.
366. No, you get the full point or you don't.
Yeah.
That's the breaks,
I
Jack.
agree. I like
This
that
whole
too.
point, this whole decimal system to fantasy football is created by a bunch of sore fucking losers. I'm going to say it. Created by a whole bunch of sore losers.
I
That's
agree
it.
with you. I like the whole points too. We drop the remainders. We don't do any fractional points. One year we had
Fractional points are a move.
Yeah, one year
And
we
I
had
don't give a fuck if anybody's listening out there. Probably like maybe 2 out there. N in this league, or maybe you're listening right now, maybe they'll agree with me, maybe they won't. Fuck partial points, fuck decimal points in a fantasy football league. It's bullshit. It's fucking weak ass sauce.
Plus, it's awkward reporting. Like I'm going to say, like Mike beat you 68.63 to, it's like, just drop it.
The
The
other thing
only
too is,
there was
hey
one
man,
year
ties.
there was one year that we had unintentionally we had half points because we gave half points per reception, and I hated that. That year we had games like 68.5 to 66 because I had chosen, in the features of the league that we would drop the remainder. So I thought that that would also include those half point for receptions, but it did not. So we dropped the receptions. Now this year, for the first time, we're using 1 point for receiving first down, which is basically like half a point per reception. There's actually 0.51. If you take receptions times 0.51, that's how many first down receiving first downs there are. So it's basically like half a point per reception. But the advantage being it's a whole number because I'm like you. I agree with you on this. I do not like the fractional points. It's cumbersome.
Okay,
It's
it's a fucking pain in the ass. Here's the thing with my league, it's a complete reset every year. We don't have keepers,
yeah, we don't have keepers.
right? We pull the fucking draft order out of a hat at random every fucking year. Okay? And we don't do decimal points, but we're a big play league. So basically, I mean, you're going to get PPR on your receivers or anybody, but we're also a big play league, which means if you get a fucking reception of 40 yards or more, you get an extra 4 points. And that's the quarterback and the receiver. So if you have the like a receiver for your team and the quarterback that you have, and you have his top receiver and he throws a 40-yard pass, you're getting an extra 8 points because you have the quarterback and the receiver. I mean, there's some swings in this league that happen. It's like I mean, we've been doing it for like 15 years and pretty much the same way the whole time. The only thing I've really changed a little bit was like the kicker. We made it to where they can get more points for like going deep. I mean, if they get over 60 points, it's like or 60 yards, it's like a 10-point or 20-point kick. I can't remember. I have to go in there and look, but it's like huge. So it's like your kickers can make you good points. I tried to point it to the point where everybody was kind of even across the board. If you got the best of everything, you're going to point huge. I mean, but if you got a guy that misses kicks and shit, it's going to fuck you up. I mean, but for the most part, I tried to keep everything even because back in the day when you would do a draft, it would be like a run on the running backs in the first round, and it switched to like wide receivers and then quarterbacks or tight ends even before quarterbacks sometimes. So I wanted to create a fucking point system that didn't have a run on any certain specific position as long as they put up points, and it's a matter of like the right people. If you got a running back that can catch a lot out of the backfield and has a good quarterback, that's perfect. That's why McCaffrey is kind of like worth a lot in our league. He will probably go first again. Alvin Kamara, another one. But then you got Debo Sweeney, who sometimes does an end around and goes out and catches passes and stuff like that, and he can catch everything. So tight ends, the PPR works great for tight ends. Anyway,
What doesn't work as well for tight ends is like increasing the points that go to kickers because I don't like even in my setup, the bottom end kickers are still ahead of the bottom end tight ends, and I want the kickers to be the least important part of of the team, and that's why we don't even give bonus points for yardage. It's all field goals are all 3.
You know what though? Why not make a use for it? I mean, you don't have to stifle the kickers completely. I mean, they win games,
But
man.
they're still getting more points than then your tight, the top tight ends are ahead of the kickers, at least in our method. But the bottom end kickers are much higher than the bottom end tight ends, and I hate that because I think tight ends are real football players and kickers are specialists. So and your bonus thing I don't like either. So our leagues are very different. I think we can see that it's more important for a player to gain yardage consistently than it is to have one big 40-yard reception or something like that. It's better that he had 4 receptions, to get to the end zone than it is to get the 40-yard reception. So
You know what, Lou? You know what's really bullshit though? A home field advantage in a fantasy football league. Hey, you know what? Baseball enthusiast, escaping reality, football podcast. Hey,
let's
let's
say
get back to baseball here. What
let's
we
say it's
talking about football
it's
for the
week
first fucking
13.
20 minutes.
It's week 13, Jeff, and you're in 5th place, and there's 8 teams that are going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
So you don't care. You're going to make the playoffs. You don't care what happens. My way, you do care because you want to finish as high as you can so that you either have home field advantage or at least you won't have it against you. Because
It's every fucking league though.
if
What I'm
you're
saying is
if
it's the
you're
fucking like home field advantage is a moot point when nobody really has a home field. It's
well,
all
it's a fantasy
fucking
league, Jeff. It's a fantasy
I
league.
get it, but why even incorporate that part of it? It doesn't even belong. I'm sorry. I can't get behind the whole home field advantage in fantasy football. It's giving free points to somebody who doesn't deserve them because their player didn't fucking make the goddamn point.
They don't deserve them because over 14 weeks their team had a better record and scored more points than you. And then during 1 week, you're saying that it's fine that you win by a point. So 1 week compared to 14 weeks has the same weight.
It's all fucking luck. Even if you have a home field advantage or not, it's all fucking luck. It's like, okay, the guy that you picked, is he not going to get hurt in week 6 for the rest of the year? And then you got to go scrounge for some other fucking asshole that might get you points if you're stuck in a situation where you have to use them.
If you're
I
talking
mean,
about if you're bringing up luck though, you're not gonna win this one because 14 weeks is a lot less opportunity for luck to come in, which it does, but not compared to 1 week.
but here's the thing with the home field advantage, you're just shuffling around free points. It doesn't really fucking matter in the first place because you're shuffling around free points to this person this week, that person that week. I mean, here's the thing when it comes down to it, everybody's got to play the same fucking rules. Personally, my thing is I don't like giving somebody some points for nothing they earned just because that week they're considered the home team. I just want the players to
Based on
speak for
what they did
themselves
during
that
the
we
entire
drafted,
season
that we
at
fucking
that
put the
point.
team together and shit. So this home field shit is just gumming up the fucking right shit, is what I look at it. I think it's overthought. I'm just saying. I am not a big fan.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
No. Mike,
I don't like
you
8
okay over
teams.
there?
I just don't like 8 teams in a playoff. I mean,
Yeah.
That's a lot too.
most of my leagues do 4. And this is particularly since the extra week of the schedule, cutting down to 4 teams for a playoff. I mean, I know that's unpopular if you don't make the playoffs, but it gives you that extra regular season game.
But
And
even,
then you
get
even,
to
with
actually
four,
playoffs.
even with 4 teams, there's no difference between finishing 4th and 1st, right? I mean, like,
Well, we
don't
do.
you want
I
there to be
think
a difference in that? There should
I
be.
think we do 2-week playoffs to avoid the true outlier. But in theory, 1st and 4th, I mean, the team who's in 1st is the better team, so they get the weaker opponent.
You know what the cool thing though is if you split it 6 and 6, you can create like a toilet bowl and work it in the same way you do the fucking playoffs in the top. you work it in the bottom 6, and there's a toilet bowl, and then basically if you're paying out, what you do is you pay out 3 fucking spots up here, and then the toilet bowl gets their money back. That's what we did last year.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And it makes the people who are out of it still play and gives them a fucking like something to play for.
You know, some leagues make it where you really don't want to finish it last either. You know,
Well, yeah, because they make up
we
fucking
don't
things
we
like
don't
you have
do
to go
that,
out to dinner with a blow up doll and fucking order 2 dinners and make sure that you stuff the fucking 30, 40, 50 fucking dollar steak down her throat. Yeah, those guys are assholes.
or the McDonald's thing where the guy had to be there for 24 hours at the McDonald's.
Oh, see, that's just, I don't know. I think people are just trying to get attention at this point.
But it is nice
Trying to be like,
to create some sort of sense of urgency at the bottom too, you know. So that's good.
well, that's the thing, you know. It's like, I mean, my league, I mean, the other guys in the league were the ones talking about the toilet bowl, and I was just thinking, well, we were doing 8, and then 4 didn't make it, and then those 4 were out. But when you split it up 6 and 6, the top 2 teams get like buys and stuff. It all works out. And then the people on the bottom get to fucking play the rest of the week, the league out, you know. It's kind of cool. You know, and then you can split up, like I said, you can split a fucking award to down at the bottom and give them their money back, whoever wins the toilet bowl.
So
And you can even have a
6
like a bronze toilet you can give them if you wanted to, because I think those are out there online.
The top 2 teams have a bye. Then how do you do the 6 and 6?
Well, if you got a 12-team league, the top 6 go to the playoffs and the bottom 6 go to the toilet bowl.
Okay, but how do you split
then,
it up? Do the top 2 teams have a bye the first week of the playoffs, or how do you do it?
Yeah, they get a bye, and then the other 4
okay.
play each other.
That's an advantage. See, that you could have brought that up when I was talking about what is the advantage of doing well in the regular season. That's an advantage. That's a sure win. That's even more. That's even a bigger advantage than having home field advantage, which you hate so much. That's a sure.
Are you talking about the bye?
Yeah, that's like
there's a bye in regular football.
Advantage.
Well, no, there's a bye in regular football. Well, there also is a home field advantage. I get what you're saying.
No, but I like what you're saying.
But that's the thing is you
league is different because we have 8 teams make it. If we only had 4, that would eliminate a lot of the luck during the regular season. But I also want to involve as many teams as I can.
Well, up until last year, I was doing 8 teams make it because it was just a friendly league. But I got pressure from the rest of the league to fucking make it 6. Make it. Because you know what happened? You know what happened in our league? The guys that wound up in 7th and 8th usually ended up in the goddamn Super Bowl of our league. And that would piss off the people that had great seasons throughout the year. So there's another sore loser kind of thing.
You know, in 1995, Bob Meinig, who's going to come back in the beer league, he had the best team by far in the football league that year. And I had, you know, the worst team in the playoffs. I mean, I was like basically an average team at best. And I won that year because we used the last week of the season back then. And he had Steve Young at quarterback, and all Steve Young needed to do was like have like 9 points, and he would win. And Steve Young would I don't remember what our point system was, but I think he'd, you know, routinely have like 20 points or 25 points. But they pulled him in the middle of the second quarter. I was listening to it. I think I was driving back to Connecticut, and I was listening to it on the radio, and they pulled Steve Young midway through the second quarter because, you know, they were already in the playoffs. And that was the year after that we decided not to use the last week of the season, which I don't think I think most leagues don't use the last week of the season now, but this is back in 95. But I was ecstatic because it was such a bullshit win because my team was basically crummy. You know, at best it was average, and I won. So but it forced a rule change. Like we wouldn't use the last week. We don't use the last week. I'm sure you don't.
I'm just saying. You know what? Let's talk about baseball.
but you don't use week 18 now, right? I mean, you use your
No.
playoffs are done in week 17.
Playing through 217. So it's like then the last day is like the 14th. Because you need what 3 weeks of 14, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah,
And then
that's
the
what we do.
18th doesn't even count. I don't know.
I'm
I
gonna think
can't remember.
about your top 6 idea and having a bye. I'm gonna think about that because I like that.
Well, I mean, you can split up the thing is you can split up the league in two different halves and still like make the bottom half play
Yeah,
for it,
no, I
you
like that
know?
too. I like that too.
It creates two different leagues at the end of the year. There's still something to win. And it's not like, okay, as soon as the playoffs hit and you're out, you're just like, okay, I'm done and detached. No, you still have a fucking
Yeah,
shot
no, I
if
like it.
your
I like it.
fucking
It's good.
assholes fucking perform that week.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
Anyway,
Well, I guess that's all the time we
welcome,
have
Mike.
for the podcast tonight. So just so you're
What's your
gonna.
take on Richardson from Indianapolis? And see you later. And
How likely is it that Mike will get into the league this year? Then is it like 50-50, or is it better than that?
what this year for the football?
Yeah.
No, I think it's pretty solid shut right now. But
Nice.
next year he's like first in line if somebody gets out or if somebody doesn't pay their dues.
Well, what about this year?
What did I just say?
I thought I thought I heard one thing and then I thought I heard another.
I got
No,
one long time league I'm in. Kind of a fun one. We don't play with defenses. It's just quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 pass catchers, and a kicker. And real strict move limit in that league. And once lost a championship because I had 3 quarterbacks injured in the final week and didn't have a move left to pick one up. I
oh,
took a 0 at quarterback and still only lost by a point.
You know, I was
hey,
talking about
I
kickers
lost the
before.
Super Bowl. I
Right?
lost the Super Bowl by a stupid ass pass that was irrelevant to Heinz Ward because they just wanted to keep the clock moving and they were at like third and fucking like 8. And Heinz Ward got one more yard than he needed. And that dude got one more point than he needed. And I lost by 1 point in the Super Bowl. And this was a fucking literally Chris Larkin could attest to this because he was in the league at the time. But this was like a $175 buy-in, and then it was like $10 a waiver wire. So if you hit the fucking like if you got like your team got hurt, oh dude, you were paying out $300 and not getting shit back. It was brutal. But the payout on it was like $1,200, like for the winner. So it was pretty awesome. But man, it got like literally cutthroat, and people were fucking at each other's throats. And we had keepers, and you can make trades for draft picks and all this shit. And when you made a fair trade, what you thought was good for draft pick and this and that, and you just traded some hot shit wide receiver when you're down at the bottom, and the guy in second place goes berserk because you just trade him to the top team. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, it wasn't just a giveaway. Everybody's got to vote on this, but it just got to be when there's too much money involved, I realize when there's too much money involved, it takes all the fun out of it. So
I agree.
that's what my football league's like a $50 league. We pull the fucking draft out of a hat, and it is what it is. We have big plays and all this other shit, and you can have fun with it. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, my football league's $25. I asked about raising it to 50, but we're just gonna stay at 25 because it's not really about the money, obviously. So.
I think the first year I did it was $20. And then everybody was bitching. It's like, oh, you got to make it worth their while. Like, let's say 50. And everybody had no problem with that. So we changed it to 50 and it stayed there ever since.
Yeah.
I would reserve not to fucking up it from that. You know, just because, you know, you just don't want people like, I mean, people get fucking crazy over the football. More so over baseball because it's not, you don't have as many weeks. You know, well, you kind of have as, do you have as many weeks? You kind of have as many weeks, but it's just like it's spread out to where it's one game a week. So, I don't know.
I was talking about
Anyway, let's fucking talk about baseball.
one more football thing. I was talking about
Damn it.
I was talking about kickers before in my brother-in-law's league. They actually they do it without kickers now, so they don't even have kickers. I don't want to go that far, but I don't want to give
Oh,
I don't want to give them the bonus points where they're worth twice as much as a tight end. I mean, you know, tight ends are real football players, and I don't want them to be worth. You know, if you don't have a top tight end, he's going to be worth like half as much as your kicker, and that's not right.
I think kickers make things exciting. You know, I mean, those guys are out there at the end of the fucking game. And they might be kicking from 50 yards out or 60 yards out at the end of the game to win the fucking game. And if they make it, and you have that guy on your team and you needed so many points to win, and that motherfucker puts you over, Jesus Christ, what a fucking thrill. But see, this is why we do this, is because of the thrills we get out of it. So fucking love the kickers, man. They put in an extra element that like melds everything out.
A kicker that can make a 55-yarder is still rewarded because he's going to get the 3 points that another guy wouldn't get. You know, so it's not like he doesn't get any benefit from being able to kick a 55-yarder.
No, he's doing it for the team though. It's more of the fucking team aspect. You know, if he doesn't make it, the team could lose. If he does make it, the team can win. You know, depending on if you're within those 3 points. But you know, the kickers are uber important. They've always been. You know, we're starting to see better ones.
They're just not real football players.
Well, no, they're a fucking
They should be
completely different
afterthought.
thing.
They should be
They're a
afterthought.
different thing. Look, kickers and punters are a different thing, dude. Once in a while, you'll see this animal come out of nowhere going, "We've been listing rates and shit, and I just want to hit something, but I can kick the fuck out of that ball." You know, I mean, there's a couple punters out there. There's a couple kickers out there who have tried. Sebastian Janikowski is a pretty big fucking dude. But there's a couple kickers out there that are just dumb as shit. Either they think they're bigger than they are and get mowed over. I love seeing videos of that. That's just fun as shit. But I think the punters are more the ones that like try to get in on a tackle, to be honest with you.
All right, let's add
They're
punters
bigger
to it.
dudes. What'd you say?
How are you gonna add punters to it? They don't score points.
We'll find a way.
Oh,
A point for every 50 punting yards.
only when they have a
I've
home
seen
field
leagues
advantage.
like that. You know, I used to do. I had a fantasy league stat service back in the '90s before, you know, Yahoo and all these places would do it for free. And I had some football leagues, and they did. They had punters, and there was, you know, a point for every whatever it was amount of punting yards. I mean, totally ridiculous, but they did have it. They were into it. As long as they like it, that's fine.
Yeah. Hey, can we talk about baseball now?
I'm actually, you know what? I've got to get up kind of early.
Holy
So,
fuck.
Mike, what's up? You're going to go to the dentist tomorrow?
Going to the dentist tomorrow, and I'm watching the White Sox put up an offensive explosion right now here in the background.
What the fuck?
They're up 4-1.
Has Brooks
Oh,
Baldwin
shit.
and Lennon Sosa or Andrew Vaughn or Corey Lee or Dominic Fletcher done anything?
Corey Lee homered off Luis Hill.
I have 5 White Sox on my AL Roto team. I'm in second out of 12, and I've got 5 position players from the White Sox.
Because you know they're going to play every day because they don't have many people.
Well, actually, Fletcher, I picked him up, and then he played 1 game that week. So I don't know what's fucking going on with that. God damn it. I was so happy to get him. He's a lefty, you know.
I have one pitcher that just started and one pitcher that is starting in like fucking 6 minutes. And yeah, my hitters aren't doing too well today. I actually had a pretty good week.
Why were there off days on Sunday this week? I've never seen that.
You know, the Yeah, there was like
Uh,
4 teams off yesterday.
you know why? It all felt because like the Cubs only have 2-game series against the White Sox, and they have some 4-game series against 2 other teams. I think
KC
one
was
is
off, I think.
Milwaukee. But anyway, they had like, so that's just the way it worked out. And they wound up where Sunday night they didn't have a game for them.
That was crazy. I've never seen
I
that
know, I
before.
know. There was like 4, or was it 6 teams?
I think it was
6
4
teams that
teams that
didn't
were off.
play.
KC was one of them. Chicago,
Yep,
St. Louis.
yep.
Well, and then because of that, we only have 8 or 9 games tonight because some of the teams have, it's
Let's put it this way: we already had this like this graph up before, where he Lou did the work and found out that how many games they had in like April, how many had in May, how many had in June, July, August, and September. And the whole fucking league is severely front loaded. It is severely front loaded. There's like 16 something hundred, maybe 1700 games happening in May and April. And then it bogs down for June and July to 1400. And I get that like All-Star break has part of that, but why in June are you sandbagging? Is it the fucking basketball and hockey playoffs? Those are usually over kind of around the first week or two of June.
Yeah,
So what the
I can see it's either, that, or the other thing is like they're protecting against having just an inordinate amount of, rainouts early in the year, so they're gonna have to schedule them late in the year, so they need open dates. But
maybe
really,
that's one of the reasons why they're having so many rainouts because they have so many fucking games.
no, but I mean, I think they're protecting against that. And then when it doesn't happen, it's like snow days, right? Sometimes the kids get out
Right.
June 10th, sometimes they get out June 29th. I remember one year we paid for camp and school was still in session. I was like, let's send them
But
to
here's the
camp
thing though.
because
They
we're
don't
paying
really
for
make
camp.
those games up in the middle of the year. They kind of wait till the end of the year all the time, and that's when they have more games again. So I get what you're saying, and if it works out, they can do it. But I guarantee you that I would say less than 50% of the games that get rained out actually get played in June and July. I think more of them are happening in August and
Yeah,
September
yeah.
because that's when I see a lot of like the makeup games happening.
I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't know this. I'm just saying, like maybe that's what Sunday was.
It could
You
be
know,
one of the factors, but that makes sense.
but I
But
don't think they're scheduling it right. And I think I told you this before too. Like April 1st is colder than November 1st. So you should start the season later, if anything. Like when I
well,
was
the
a
thing is,
kid,
you're
they would
coming
start at what
straight.
April 7th in that area. You know,
The thing is, you're coming straight out of like base. You're coming straight out of like spring training and stuff. These guys aren't fully warmed up yet, and then they all of a sudden have to play a fucking fuck ton. All right, and then next thing you know, they're all getting hurt. And it's like, why are these guys getting hurt? Well, you know what? You're not warming them up properly. I think that was a big problem with Snell this year, is that he had to go straight into the fucking mix, and they wanted him to use right away, and he threw his arm out a little bit. He had to go sit down for a while and heal up, and now he looks great. Fucking threw a no hitter.
tonight's his first start where he hasn't his first 4-game stretch where he hasn't had a break from either the All-Star break or injury this year. Let's see how he does.
I hope so. I need the points.
He's never made it more than 3 in whatever it is, 15 or 16 days this year.
Yeah. Hey Lou, you want to go through your charts?
yeah. And you do a lot of talking, Mike, because I know that we've been hogging it. So,
Oh, I swear to God, man, I'm gonna go have a cigarette. You guys talk for a second.
oh, you're gonna miss. You had a good week this week. You probably want to stick around for this.
Yeah,
All right, I'll say nice things about you.
let's go have a good conversation. I'll be back.
Let's see. All right, I guess you see it, right, Mike?
Yep, I can see it.
All right. Well, I'll be quick on this. The only thing that's changed is McBride's took over the games played underage. So they're the most under now. Everything else is the same as it was last week, except predicted top four. Spear is back and forth, and they kicked play out, and they've been going back and forth for a month and a half like this. Well, actually, I think it was Spear and Knockers for a while, but Spear and play have been going back and forth. So now it's Spear, predicted for fourth. And then players of the week, William Contreras, who's been on here half a dozen times probably this year as the cow of the week. And Spear had Bregman and JP Sears. JP Spears, I guess I could say. And Jackson Merrill, who is playing center, but he also qualified at one of our middle infield spots for sombreros.
I happen to be looking at his numbers today. They are quite impressive.
Yeah, he's looking good, huh?
He's up around 280, 17 homers, 13 steals or so in that park.
If it wasn't for Skeens, maybe he'd be rookie of the year.
Yeah.
He'll still be in the voting. Unless he tails off terribly. What else? Satch had Jordan Alvarez and Logan Webb. And then Knockers kicked in with Tyler Rogers as the relief pitcher of the week. And then we go to the standings and see that Spear went 6-0. And McBride's went 0-6. They're 5-22 over the last 5 weeks. So they're really tailing off. They're down here in 8th now. Hack is up at 6th now. I mean, Chad's had a terrible, personally, a terrible month and a half, 2 months. But his team is rising to the occasion. He's, close to 500, and he's not far from Let's Play, and he's only a game and a half out of 5th. And then Daddy's had a good week at 5-1, and Sombreros went 1-5. They had been hot, but now they're 3.5 games behind the Daddies. They're a ton of points behind them. And then Wait Till Next Year had a good week, 4-2. So you're up in 9th. Very respectable first year place right now. I mean, you had no advantages going in, so the fact that you're not nearly in last is a good testament, right? I mean,
only 5 out of respectable middle of the pack, 7th. So
yeah. So
I'll say that I've not struggled with, but it takes some managing, some quality managing to really get that win from Friday into Monday. Making the right moves. That's definitely an area where, I mean, what am I below? I'm -8 in wins versus expected wins.
Your players still have to perform, though. I mean,
right, but I think some of that is
you could
mismanagement,
put
especially
yourself in the
early.
best position to win, and your shit. Those guys will fucking go flat on you all at the same time, and it will fuck you. It just
Yeah,
happens.
But
I think
yeah,
I mismanaged some games
Buddha-wise, Mike deserves 4 more wins. So the area you're talking about, you would be a game behind Bizzatti with equal length. So you'd be in 8th as opposed to it'd only be 1 place different. But yeah, it's almost 4 wins difference from your points to your wins. And like I've said, ad nauseum. I mean, some of it is by design, right? It's not just luck, but
well, that's the moves
most cases,
the moves I've been making this year are the realization that I'm at the disadvantage this year, so set up for next year without trying to totally give up this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the higher you
thank you for Jorge Soler.
Yeah, the higher you finish, the better off you'll be. So each place is an extra buck, basically, and an extra waiver priority in the off season. So
Yeah.
If you want a guy, you're an eighth, and Hack wants him, he's a ninth. You got him. So
I did get quite a laugh at the timing of Solaire's 3 homers.
yeah, three homer. I mean, I don't. When was the trade? When did we do the trade? I don't remember. You
I
might have
either
had
got two. I either got. Well, I think he had a single homer, and a double homer game. I think he had 4 in 3 days.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I traded him after he'd already had the one. I don't remember,
I think so.
but yeah, that's not what you want to see.
No, well, I didn't expect that either.
But really, the difference between, even in my mind, the difference between Springer, it was Springer for Soler, right?
Yeah, and
Wasn't huge, but and I did the same thing with Cabrian Hayes and Eugenio Suarez and one other one, and all these are like, yeah, more than 50% chance that he'll outpoint him, according to my numbers, but it's within the realm of possibility that I'll lose on all 3 of them. Like that. If I stayed put, I would have more points just from the guys that I traded away. Plus, I sent an NA guy accompanying all those moves.
I think Springer has more consistent playing time though. I don't know what that Braves outfield's going to look like down the stretch.
Well, Soler just got traded, so it's hard to say what he's back with his old team where they had glory, and he's hitting. I think he's hitting leadoff. So there's a lot to like about that. A lot to question about trading him. So we'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, I'll just laugh at myself. I did too much. Sometimes it might be better to be cool as a cucumber when you're in those situations, as opposed to like, I have to do as much as I can. So. But anyway, so yeah, sombreros are actually back in last. Jeff went. The dads went 5-1, but you can see it should. I think they're what 3.5 ahead now. Yeah, dads are 3.5 ahead, but actually, if you just look at points, it shouldn't even be close, right? Daddies should be at 49-64, and sombreros would be 37-77. So they'd be 8 games ahead as opposed to what did I just say, 3.5?
Yeah.
So, but let's look at weight. So Wade's got 2.9 hitting points per games played. That's actually about, no, it's about average. It's about average. That's not average. This is the average. That's the minimum. So yeah, so your average on your hitting points per games played. Your pitching, you're at 2.3. That's also average. It seemed like you'd be a 500 team. Your bullpen, I think that's below average. You're at 148 in your saves and hold points, and that's the least in the league by about what, 70 points. So that's an area where you're below average. Otherwise, you're like a 500 team, which isn't bad coming off as an expansion team. I thought this was interesting. Predicted rest of the year win-loss record. The Holy Cows are number 1. So I don't know if this is a mistake that I haven't discovered yet, or if this is true. Because
The Holy Cows are what?
they're predicted that they will have the best win-loss record for the rest of the year. And the model doesn't assume that you'll make up underages, so that eliminates that part of it. Because I could see, they're way under and something, so but it's not what the model should be doing anyway, at least as I think it works. But isn't that funny? Holy Cows will have a better win-loss record than the Gags, Let's Play, Satch, and the McBrides.
How are you seeing this? I mean, like, I'm seeing just like the standings right now.
You're not seeing, it doesn't say current and remaining on the top there?
I see what you're saying there, but what are you talking about as far as like how do you know the Holy Cows are going to do better than anybody else?
I don't know that. I'm just saying that this is what the model says. This is what this is. It's
Oh,
predicting
so
the,
they're saying they're going to go 25-17 on the way
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, now I get it. Sorry.
So it thinks that Bizzotti is going to have the worst record down the stretch. So I will look at this week to make sure this is on the up and up because it seems a little crazy, but interesting if it is correct. So somehow it likes the Cows the rest of the year. But the important thing to see is that it doesn't like any team very much, right? I mean, it seems like it's going to be
It's got me going 500.
yeah, teams are not going to be, no matter what the record is so far, they're not going to differ from 500 too much the rest of the year. And a lot of that's because of innings overages, right? Gags, Satch, and Knockers have innings overages still to contend with.
I've got underages on every fucking position and fucking my pitching. Yeah, I've got underages.
The model
So
is going to like teams that have underages, but not very big ones, because it won't assume that you're going to make up the underage. But
no, because everybody out there fucking sucks.
so anyway, so I don't know. We'll see how it works. We'll see if from this point to the end of the season, the Cows have the best record in the league. I wouldn't drop money on it, but it's interesting to see that that's what it says. So a 98 team first, 98 win first place team. We've had years where it's been almost 20 games more than that, right? So that's where things are gonna be tighter than they've been most years. So that's good to see. And the model says that weight will be in 10th. It didn't like weight too much, I think, because of overages. I think you still have an IP overage. I don't know how big it is now, but I think you're up with Satch and Gags and Knockers with that overage. Where is it? Weight's at 63, so you've definitely whittled it down. It's definitely you're more in the middle, so that's a good place to be. But Knockers is on top with 98, and then next is Satch 75, Zadi 74, and Gag 73.
I'm gonna tell you this, Mike, though. Nice showing in your first year in the league. You seem to be picking it up pretty well.
Yeah, I got to figure out the Friday through Sunday maneuvers a little bit better, and well, it
Takes
didn't help
time.
that I think I took two closers who lost their job in the first week, so that
Hey, I got a closer for sale. Get the KC guy.
The closer's what? Ersig?
Huh?
Lucas Ersig?
No. What's his name? Hold on.
I don't know who's closing for them. I saw
General MacArthur?
MacArthur, yeah.
I don't think he has sole claim to that job.
Vonderlick was attempting to close for Colorado the other day.
What's his name?
Wunderlich?
Vonderlick, I think, throws hard.
Wunderlich. The
Throwing
Wunderlich test.
101, 102.
Well, that weekend stuff, that's just timing and luck too. I mean, right? I mean, if you have a bunch of pitchers that it hits their turn in the rotation over the weekend, then you're gonna look like a warrior, right? So the weekend
Yeah, but there are
warrior.
we get so many moves. There's little things like if I had a reliever get a hold 2 days in a row, I could take a shot at somebody else. Or how you allocate those weekend innings pitched. If you see a guy on the wire you like, is it worth a shot or not?
Okay, hey, so check this out. Snell's first inning pitched. No hits, 4 batters faced, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Ah, That's a good inning back. Keep going. I'm sorry.
So I was going to look at weight. Going to focus on wait till next year. We'll take a little snapshot on their team. So you're second league in OBP and batting average, seventh in slugging. So your hitting is basically above average, or average to above average. You're weighted on base. Your runs per game, OPS is sixth. These other ones are fifth. I mean, so you're average to above average hitting wise. And these rate on a rate basis anyway. And then pitching, you're fifth in ERA, third and fifth, fourth runs per game.
How am I first in BABIP?
Second in K minus BB percentage. So like you're pitching, you're fifth in ERA, but you could almost think that by the end of the year you'll be higher than that because your K minus BB is second.
That BABIP's not helping.
Your FIP is third. So yeah, you're getting a little unlucky in the BABIP.
How am I shitty in everything else but BABIP's number one?
Well, that's depressing because that would indicate that you're even getting sort of lucky with your ERA. So, I don't know.
I'm getting fucked on my luck.
No, that's good. You're getting good BABIP luck with your pitching.
Oh, no shit. So I'd be even worse
I think
if I
that's what it
didn't have
means.
a
Let me
good
see.
BABIP.
I think that's right. That means you're well, I guess it depends on how you have it
Let me
filtered.
see. 280. Yeah, you have the lowest batting average.
So I've got good
Balls in
defense, is
play.
what you're saying.
So you're already, not to rub it in, but you're already last in ERA, and it doesn't seem like it's going to go any better than that. You're last in K minus BB, you're last in FIP, so it's just not a whole lot of hope there. The only thing you're doing well is your bullpen is definitely above average. So you're getting holds and save points, but other than that, your pitching's bad.
Yeah, I used to be like
Your hitting must
second.
be
Now
good.
I'm in the back.
Yeah,
Everybody else has caught up to me.
so your hitting's good. You're third and weighted on base. That's probably the single best stat here. Second in runs per game. That's kind of like runs created. So your hitting's good. Your pitching is really bad, except for the points. But this is pretty respectable. You're above average in your hitting, and then your rate metrics, you're above average also. And you're only fifth in ERA, but according to this, you probably finish higher than that. Fourth, you'll probably move up a spot. We'll see what it is at the end of the year, if I even remember that I said this. Let's see. But all right, so that's it. That's all I
got. When's the trade deadline for this league?
It's August 22nd, which I think is a Thursday.
It is a Thursday because you know what? That day, actually, I'm going to be playing host at the Cubs game at the Suite. So I will be at that game against Detroit.
So get your trades into Jeff early.
Huh?
Get your trades into you early.
Yeah, get your trades into me by the 21st.
Or during the game. Then. So Jeff, all fantasy football talk aside, so I can show up at like 5 o'clock and I'll be able to get in.
What are you talking about?
About the suite.
5 o'clock. If you want to fly back to Chicago, I could probably make it happen.
Well, I'll just do it by Zoom. How about that?
Oh, I could do that.
Just set me up in the corner, and then I'll be like, oh wow.
But you know what? One of these days, I'm gonna have to like try to get go get ahead of it. And next year, when the Mets come to Chicago, I will try to get I'll try to host a suite during the Mets and they always give me an extra ticket. And if I can get that done, you got to fly out, stay with me. I'm not far from O'Hare.
Or Mike. Mike, Mike said he'd put me up.
Fuck Mike. Anyway, I'm just fucking around. So I mean, just come into town. We'll go to a fucking game and boom, fuck off. Get the fuck back home.
Here's another idea.
What's
How
that?
about you rent that suite out, no game, beginning of March, and then we have our auction there. How about that?
I don't own that suite. That is property of Wrigley Field, and yeah, not on the off season.
Even if you slip like the guy like behind the desk like a $5 bill or something like that, that wouldn't affect anything.
Didn't even know to talk to, and I doubt he's that cheap. If he did, most of the time they just tell you to fuck off.
Does Mr. Lincoln not change your mind any?
Yeah. You mean that penny? Oh shit.
All right. Well, I'll
Mike.
be firing off some trades.
Oh yeah? Who are you looking to get rid of?
Arenado.
Oh, now I gotta look at your team, god damn it.
I need to get some guys healthy. I had some value on the IL coming off.
You got Nolan Jones, Correa, Trevino, Marte.
Who's Korea? What?
You got Tyler Black, who's off NA, so you're gonna have to make some space for him.
He is up. Did they actually activate him today?
Oh
They had
yeah,
him on
yeah.
they had him on the taxi in case, just in case today.
No, he's up.
He's up. All right.
Yeah, NA designation is not there.
I hate when that happens because then I have to make a
Oh.
decision. I hate that.
Okay, well, you don't have that much on hurt. You got the four like position players and Lance Lynn. What were you looking for?
I don't know. I'll have to take a look at your roster.
Oh fuck. Yes, Chisholm's kind of tasty right now.
So Jeff, auction dollars was your baby. That was your idea. It was a good idea.
That was my idea. Yeah, well,
Have
trading.
you ever traded auction dollars, or have you only
I have.
received them?
Here in $2-3 here, $3 there, but I find them valuable. I'd rather trade for them than trade them away. So, I mean, you never know. It might take that one extra dollar to get somebody who's really going to help you. And that's the way I kind of look at it. So, I mean, the fab dollars came in later and we kind of trade them the same way. It's kind of cool. That's really cool. Who came up with the fab dollar idea?
I'm not sure. It might have been me, but it might not have been. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I know auction
I
dollars.
think-
I know that was you.
I don't
Yeah.
think we'd be good trade partners because all the guys on your team I would want, I don't think you would give up.
Like who?
Fitzgerald, Churio, Bush.
You like Yandy Diaz?
I do not. Aggressively do not.
Do not.
All right.
Damn.
I will send a list of all the guys on your team I do not like, and we'll work out a trade.
Or not.
Or not.
I traded Yandy to you, and I bet you I still like him more than most people do.
You want him back?
I'll look at it.
Oh!
I mean, we did
Is it-
Alonso, and he hasn't done very well this year. He hasn't done nearly as well as I thought.
God, as
DeAndre's
soon as you
hitting
got
30
him, your
now.
team took off last year. Don't give me that shit.
But I mean, for this
And
year,
then you're in
didn't you?
first place and I'm in fucking last. So what does that say?
I
I
thought
can't.
I thought in the contract year, I thought in the contract year he might hit 50, and he's on pace for 35. I think it is now.
Jesus fucking Christ. He's pretty consistent.
It's going to be a bad negotiation between him and the Mets because I don't think they were super high on
Pete
Alonso going
Alonso
into
is
this year.
not going to be a Met after this year.
Yeah, I don't
He's
think
just
so.
not. He's not. He's over it.
Yeah, I don't think so because I don't think that they're going to offer him more. They already offered him 7,156. I think that's what it was last year. I don't even know if they would do that this year. Well, they wouldn't do 7. They would do 6 now.
There's going to be some other team that's going to pry him away. They
Yeah.
need that fucking like home run presence in their ballpark. It could be the fucking Miami fucking Marlins, man. They're not paying
No.
anybody. He probably wouldn't go there. I'm not saying that, but somebody like that could fucking like if that's the only fucking even fucking the White Sox, okay?
Won't be the
If he
White
decided
Sox.
that he just got tired of listening to all everybody bitch and this and that and how they're so fucking cheap, and he makes this big splash just to get him off his back and he can concentrate on trying to get himself a fucking stadium. He's getting so much money from MLB itself. He's just pocketing it all. He's not putting it back into the team.
I can't
That's the
see the
problem with
Sox. You
fucking
know,
Reinsdorf.
I thought no for no reason, but just gut wise, I thought that the Cubs would be a fit. But if they still have Bellinger, I don't see how that's going to work. Because like
Oh, for
PCA,
next year, they'll be a fucking perfect fit. They can have either DH, Bellinger complete center. It's just going to fucking move Pete Crow Armstrong somewhere, or they can put Bellinger and right.
well, you can't
They can
move
move people
Armstrong
around.
anywhere but center. I mean, that's the only place where he has any value. So then you're saying Bellinger's going to be your first baseman, right?
Well,
No,
I
put
don't
him
think
on.
Bellinger's going to be on the team next year, to be
If
honest with
that's
you.
true, then Alonso could go there.
Or put him on one of the corners. Suzuki's terrible and right. And Hap is what he is. Hap could easily go into a utility role.
Yeah, but he's got power. He's like worth a fucking like he's worth getting some fucking good pitching for.
Maybe.
You know, if you wanted to trade Hap, there's plenty of teams that will take him, and he would be like their Jay Buhner.
Oh, they shouldn't trade Hap. They
I
should
don't know
just
what the
add.
contract.
They should just add
But he
pitching.
holds a lot of value. I think he holds a lot of value. Number one, he's a switch hitter. Okay. Number
You need
two, he's got 20 home runs. He's got well, he's batting over 220. God damn it! Now I gotta look this shit up.
they just need to add pitching and a catcher, hopefully. Catcher and a starter and a couple of relievers. That's why I don't understand if they're in it why they did the Mark Later trade, you know. I don't
They
know
have a
who they
star.
got.
I agree with catcher. They also have a star power issue, right? They just don't have enough impact bats. I mean, think of all the games. You look at look at the Yankees offense outside of Judge and Soto and compare it to the Cubs. Like it's really not that much different, but you're getting
It's worse.
home runs through Judge and Soto.
Yeah, it's probably worse than the Cubs.
The Cubs have a lot of really good players. They
I
don't have
mean,
that
before
great
they
one
added
to take
Chisholm.
them over the top. You know what I mean? They don't have that Mookie Betts. They don't have that fucking, Bryce Harper. They don't have that Mike Trout. Mike Trout's well, just shelving for himself, but they don't have a Mike Judge or not Mike Judge, Aaron Judge.
And
Mike
those guys
Judge is
matter.
Beavis and Butthead,
Mike
right?
Judge.
Those guys
Huh?
matter. I mean, think of how many
Big
wins.
time.
How much that saves your bullpen? All those games that the Cubs are playing at 3-2, that the Yankees are playing at 5-2.
Right. So when
I'm
you
gonna
have a player out there that's going to be a difference maker like Juan Soto, you have to fucking go after him because that's the guy that's going to bring this Cubs team together is a fucking player of that caliber.
I agree.
And if they don't, it's going to be the same old shit next year.
But it's not as bad. I gotta jump off, but I'm gonna leave with this from John Heyman less than an hour ago. The White Sox need to go 15-28 over their final 43 games to avoid tying the 62 Mets. Their
Wow.
best 43 game stretch this year, 14-29. So they have to play their best ball of the season the rest of the way to avoid being the worst team ever.
With a team that's not as good as it was when
Right.
the year started. Oh, jeez.
I'm excited to go to one Sox game this year, and it'll be in late September. So I want to say I saw the worst team ever.
These teams though have a tendency to rally at the end. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if they make it by a game or two.
Well, the thing is, they put Grady Sizemore in check on there. You know, that guy's. What do you think of that? I mean, that's interesting, really interesting. Because here's the thing: Grady Sizemore didn't even get back into baseball until like not even a year ago, and really worked his way up the chain pretty damn quick. He was like an intern, like a year and a half ago, and then they put him on the payroll. And then all of a sudden, it's like now he's fucking managing the White Sox. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, I know he devoted 2 or 3 years to men's synchronized swimming, but when he wasn't able to make the Olympic team, then he decided he would go back to baseball, his first love.
I just assume he'll be injured in a week or two, just like the rest of his career.
Yeah. He'll get injured going out to fucking bitch out an argument and fall on his face, and all of a sudden, my MCL.
All right, I got to jump.
All right, man. Well, hey, have a good night. Thank you
Have a good
for
night.
coming in.
See you,
Sorry we
Mike.
talked
Good
so
luck
much
down the
about football
stretch.
early.
Beautiful cap.
Yep, thanks.
See ya.
Yeah.
Do I have to remove you?
So, what do you think the chances of Eloy Jimenez starting a Cal Ripken like streak now that he's in Baltimore? You know,
Well.
going to go like 5-6 seasons without missing a game now, right?
No, the thing is, if you're going to do a Cal Ripken streak, you have to start at 23 and not miss a game. You can't start at like 31 after missing a fucking ton of games.
Maybe he'll play. Maybe he'll play like Tom Brady, play to 45 or something. You know, he'll be like Bartolo Colon and.
I haven't even looked to see how Eloy Jimenez has been doing since he got traded. He is not good. Yeah, this year he's got a minus 0.3 WAR, 253 at bats, 67 hits, 5 home runs, 265 batting average, 19 runs, 20 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, on base percentage of 318, slugging 368, OPS is 685,
Yeah,
and an OPS plus of 94.
but since he went to the
Why in the
Orioles,
fuck? Here's
his
the thing.
OPS is 1153, an OPS plus of 156.
Here's the thing I don't get. Why the fuck are you trading for that guy when you have Heston Kjerstad
Oh boy.
in the pipeline? You know, granted it's my guy, but fuck, what the fuck?
I hate to break it to you, Jeff. It's because Kjerstad sucks. He sucks. He's always sucked, and he always will suck. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he hasn't had any opportunity yet. They're log jam, and then they fucking jam the logs harder. Fucking crazy. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
I even
I
like
don't know.
the guy they traded to the Marlins. Now he might turn out to be nothing because I'm not a savant, especially with young players. But I like Kyle Stowers too, and yeah, I'm sure he'll get every opportunity to play in Miami. So, I wonder how those young guys view those kind of trades. Like, they're probably just the most important thing is just to get the at bats, right? I mean, more than a pennant race, don't you just want the chance to play every day?
And you know that wine's 8%?
8.5.
Well, I saw the box when you were like pouring it. It said 8%.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it is just 8%. 8%. Very good. So it's not even
That's
8.5.
my little alcohol and beverage sleuth shit.
Yeah, no, 8%. That's even better than 8.5. Good. I can drink more.
Yeah. You can drink twice as much.
I drink one of these with each meal. I'll tell you, some mornings breakfast is tough, but
Hey man, some people take around a thermos of Kool-Aid, some people take a box of wine.
I could hook it up with the tubes, just like do my grocery shopping, got my hooked up to my box of wine. So yeah,
Have two water bottles in that fucking helmet and shit, and just have the straws coming into your mouth.
that'll be 23.50. Here you go, lady. Yeah, right there. What is that? Oh,
Oh.
that's medically prescribed. My doctor. It's heart medication.
All right, Lou, let's talk trade here. Since I got you here.
I'm all traded out. I got nothing now. I blew it. I shot
How
my
would you
wall.
like how would you like Yandy Diaz back for Nico Horner?
Nico is, I think, one of only two shortstops I have on my team.
Hold on a second then. I could work with that. Hold on. We can make it a 2 for 2.
I mean, I don't even know how much I like Yandy. I just like him. Um,
We just need
my
to
gut,
I
my
need to
gut likes
switch
him.
up my team a little bit and figure some shit out. Um
But I am trying to figure myself out. Like, why don't I like him?
using him are you using him strictly as a shortstop?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I've got second basemen that don't qualify at short.
Right. Well, I'm just like I don't want like me looking at middle infield.
I
Hmm.
think Michael Garcia is my other shortstop. I don't think I have anybody else that qualifies.
Yeah, Nico. Yeah. You got JP Crawford is on the injured list. He's going to be coming back one of these days.
He's been out long enough. I forgot about him. All right, yeah, that'll help. Actually, that's interesting. If he comes back, then I can use Michael Garcia back at corner infield. I can probably get rid of like A. Eugenio, who I actually traded for. That would be a waste. But
He had a finger issue, so did light tossing out to 60 feet before Sunday's game against the Blue Jays. It marked the first time the recovering infielder was able to throw since going on the injured list on July 23rd. Crawford has been engaged in infield practice since August 2nd as well, so a return before the end of the month, even when factoring in a rehab assignment, could be within the range of outcomes.
man,
So
who
no,
writes that stuff? Get to the effing point. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
right.
Right, reading Dostoevsky or something. Come on.
It could have been the way I was reading it too. Um, mm,
Could have just
well,
said he'll be back at the end of August.
you got a
That's all I
fucking
need
like
to know.
a total ton of people in a fucking trade recently.
Yeah.
You cleaned out you cleaned out Kimmler. I thought it was a pretty fair trade though.
Yeah. I probably should have a weekday only trade policy with myself. Like Friday nights, Saturday nights, maybe those should be off limits.
I figure I'm gonna start just trying to trade with you right at the end of like our podcast on Mondays when we're just like you're drinking wine and I'm drinking fucking Jameson. And what the fuck is gonna happen after that? Who knows? I've made 2 trades in 2 straight podcasts. Well, I know not two. No, it was two in a row because it was Norm and then it was Phil. And then I didn't trade with Sean last week, but it doesn't mean I can't trade with you today. Mr. Moneybags, what you got? You got 87, 16 points.
I'm pretty sure that I'm out. I don't think I have anything else.
I don't think you want anything from me, to be honest with you.
No, I'm sure I want something from anybody, but I just don't. You know, I did highlight your team, and I don't think I could find anything that was really workable because any of the guys that I would be interested in, I was like, Jeff's not going to want to trade him.
Like who?
I can't remember, but it would. You know, I always look for guys that like, oh, I can't believe I have him rated that high. You know, like those kind of guys. I didn't have any guys like that with you. Any of the guys that I thought were really good, you would also think are really good, and you'd be like, no way am I doing that. You know, so I just didn't see a good fit. But you had
So
also
I got a guy here.
said too that you weren't looking to. You wanted to finish as high as you could this year, so that factored in too. So I figured.
Well, I do want to finish as high as I can, but I want to see if there's something that may work in both of our favors.
I'll look
Phil
at
Marte
it,
is
but I don't think I
dating
have.
why.
I don't think I have much to trade now. You know, like anything for this. You know, as far as something for next year, next year, this year thing. I don't think I have it now. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm all done, even though the deadline's a week and a half away. I think
No,
I
that's
think
fine.
I'm done.
Hey, so Kettle Marte's got a problem with his ankle. God damn it. That's me.
He was a guy I was looking at, but I figured,
Well,
you know, I just think you're so attached to him. I was like, no, he's not going to trade him.
he was removed from Monday's game against the Rockies after his first at bat. Nick Tiacoro from the Arizona Republic reports. Marte showed signs of discomfort at the dish during his first at bat of the game as he fell down on one of his swings and gingerly way to first base on a flyout. The team removed him from the matchup shortly afterwards, deploying Kevin Newman at second base. It's clear that Marte is not yet 100% and is suffering a bruised left ankle Saturday. Bruised left ankle
That would
Saturday.
have pissed me off so much if I had
And he'll
traded
be
for
considered day to day until the club has more information to share on his availability moving forward. So yeah, fucking goddamn. I cuss too much. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not making any trades anytime soon either. Thank God I got Luis Reyes. I mean, he's not going to put up the power numbers that Kettle Marte is going to do, but Jesus Christ.
You
You
got
know
him
who's
on
been
waivers.
cool? You know who's been good for me was Matt Vierling. This guy from Detroit, man.
Going back to Arise, you got him on the Fab. How much did you bid for him?
Oh, let's go back and look. I can't remember.
I didn't have any
You know what?
Fab to bid back then.
It was a hell of a lot less than when I put out for Quantrill. Holy fuck.
I think I bid like $2 because that's all I really had in my budget. But I thought that was weird. Whoever dropped Arise, I don't know who that was.
I don't know, but I will look. Hold on one second here.
I knew I wouldn't get him. I put the bid in, but I was like, I'm not getting him, not for this amount.
So the person who dropped him, Scambler Spear. And I put $9 down to get him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hold on a second. I think there's a way to find out here.
Yeah, if you look in Fab bids, it's on there. I bid 2. Somebody else bid something too. I had bid, I think it was before then, I had bid $14 on Matt Strom for the Phillies. And then later that day, I dropped him. I spent
So
14 Fab.
Paging Dr. Satchel bid $4. You bid 2, and Spear threw his like name back in a hat to get him back. uh Simone Woods Richardson was the last one. Platinum Sombreros got him. I don't think he had that good of a game that day.
You got
Actually,
$4, right?
is that August 4th or 10th? Hold on a second. That was August 4th. So yeah, he had a shit game that day. The last game he had just recently was pretty good, but he outbid me by $1 on him. Knockers put in a claim, Sash put in a claim. Hayden Birdsong, Sash got him for a $1 thing. Gambler Spear was in on him.
I don't know anything about that guy. Is he on the Giants?
I have no clue who he is, to be honest with you.
Is he like one of the relief
Well,
pitchers for the Giants?
hold on a second. Here we go. Let me just share the
Sent
screen with you.
Doval to the minors.
This is his last little
Oh, he
bit.
is Giants. Okay, so maybe
He's
he's like
had
one of the
some decent
relievers.
games, and then all of a sudden he hit the skids here. So is he hurt? It's the one thing. That's the one thing. When I see two
Oh, he's a
negative
starter.
in a row, he is a starter.
Yeah.
But when I see two negatives in a row like that, it kind of makes you wonder. It's like, okay, is he on a fucking like slump? Is he hurt? And that makes me fucking shy away. I'm not doing it. I'm not touching that. Nope.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before this year. Not on the radar. Don't know. Don't know.
He's only started 8 games. I mean, he's pretty new. You know, he just came. Yeah, his first game was against Chicago Cubs. But yeah, June 26th he came up, and that's it. So
Hey, when is your football draft? Is that online?
yeah, you can do it online, um, but like a bunch of us meet up at Lemmings every year. Um, yeah. So it's
You do
like, I
it.
mean, we do it on Yahoo,
You do it
and
online, but together.
yeah. I mean, but there's like guys with like laptops and shit, and they'll just hit their own buttons or they're on their phone or whatever the case, however they want to do it. But they do their draft, and I mean, there's usually about 6 or 7 of us together, and the other 5 are kind of spread apart.
When do you do it usually?
The day after Labor Day, Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah, that's when ours is too. No.
It's the best time to do it because you don't know who the hell has even made the team until that fucking week. So if you're like doing your draft in August, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I mean, you got the whole weekend of like Labor Day weekend. You
Well,
know,
how
I
about
know a
us?
lot of people go out of town and stuff like that, but
But how
it's
about us in
just
baseball doing our thing on March 9th? I mean, we're idiots, right?
uh, we got a pretty good educated guess, and plus, you know what? The other spaces give you a little bit of leeway to move. There's a lot more players that we can use in baseball as opposed to what football has for 12 teams.
I looked at you asked last week. Me and Sean, like what rookies we thought would be, the top rookie for fantasy football, and so I did see like my projections, not ones I do myself. I don't do my own football ones. I was looking into doing it, but I don't think I'd be very good in anyway. But they do like that Marvin Harrison, and they like Caleb Williams. Possibly.
Caleb Williams looked really fucking good. He
They
looked
also
really
like
good.
they also like Jaden Daniels, the Redskins for the whatever they're called. What the heck are they called? Commanders. Commanders. But that doesn't mean that he'll have a better career than Caleb Williams. It's just talking about for this one year. but he is stepping into a spot. But I don't know. Caleb's got some receivers that the Bears haven't had. He could do well from the start. I know he looked good in his first game. I mean, you can't touch shit from that,
He's
but it's
got
better
that
than looking
going for
bad.
him. But you know what? You know who the like the dark horse in this whole race is to be like the best rookie quarterback? Watch out for Bo Nix. That guy, I've even liked him in college and stuff like I've seen him play. The guy is good. He's like a pro-ready quarterback. The Broncos got him. And right now he's going against Jared Stidham and like Zach Wilson or whatever.
That's
But
an
to
easy.
be
That's
honest
an
with
easy
you,
guy to
he
lose.
might not he might not start the season as a starter, but give it 2 or 3 games, he might be the starter, and going forward, he'll be like the only quarterback the Denver Broncos have for years.
I mean, these
This guy's
Florida projections are going to factor that in, though. A guy that's got the job from day one is going to be at a big advantage just for this year. But yeah, I knew Bo Nix from, not personally, but he was at Auburn, right? And he
Mhm.
transferred to Oregon,
Yep.
and yeah, I mean, I've always had an eye on him, and I don't know
He's on
college football very
he's
well.
actually he's older too. I mean, I think he's like 24, 25.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he an older guy? He's an older guy. I mean, he was like one of those like 6 year seniors
Next
or whatever.
next year because of 2020 or something.
Yeah, he was part of the whole COVID shit. So I don't know. But I think Bo Nix is going to be probably one of the best quarterbacks out of this whole draft, to be honest with you. And I think to be honest with you, I think this draft is going to be similar to like when Marino and Kelly and all like what was that
Wow.
one year where all those fucking good quarterbacks came out?
Well, that would be something. I don't know. I don't know if I know that, but I guess for this year in fantasy football, it seems like there's a lot. There's a handful of receivers that could be of value, and not too many running backs. Like Carolina got one, but it doesn't seem like there's too many running backs that are going to contribute right off the bat. But
Wasn't Carolina's running back going to be Chuba Hubbard?
they took a guy in the draft. Oh Jesus, I can't remember the name.
Brooks? Jonathan Brooks or some shit?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But there are a handful of receivers. Neighbors for the Giants, and of course Harrison in Arizona.
I don't think I can fuck with neighbors because Daniel fucking Jones is not good. Oh, I don't know, man.
He's healthy. He's all
Like, I
right.
really, but he's never healthy. So, I mean, what do you mean? He's healthy is good. Well, why here? Let's look up Daniel stats. I will bring it up. Baseball reference, switch to football reference.
And like tight ends, you got like Brock Bowers,
This
right? And that's
this
about
whole
it.
this whole company who does this sports reference, kudos to you guys, man. You are the freaking bomb. All right, so Daniel Jones. Oh boy, okay. So, all right. Last year he passed for 909 yards. He got hurt. He was out. He only started 6 games. Year before that, games 3,205 yards passed for, and he had 15 touch 5 receptions. And that was basically that. The year before, he played 11 games, 2,428 yards, 10 TDs, 7 interceptions, The year before that, 14 games he played, 2,943 yards, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. See, here's the thing. Yeah, he's getting a little better every year by year, but he's not blowing up anything. He's not a like knock your door down. Nobody's going to be afraid of Daniel Jones. He's Bob Avellini on a good team, is what he
And
is.
they paid him, you know.
They
He-
paid him
He's
huge.
making
I
good
don't get
money.
it. I don't fucking get it at all. That's terrible. Let's see what the fuck. I mean, I'm gonna go down here and see what he was like getting paid, because usually they have that.
I think he's getting paid like 40 million a year. Hey, by the way, last week I was right. Benintendi signed a 5-year, $75 million contract.
You know what though? That little guy has been playing pretty well lately. He's been hitting some home runs and he's picked it up for some reason.
But he's, yeah, I was just saying that he's the least of their concerns. Benintendi is not the problem, you know. Benintendi money, any team can afford that, even the A's probably. Well, maybe not the A's, but
He probably doesn't feel like he fits much in. All right, let's see here. I can't. No, they don't have any of the money.
I'm pretty sure he's making 40 million a year.
He's not making 40 million a year. He's only making like 15 or like 17 or 17.8, something like that.
So I'm way,
I'll
I'm
look at,
way off.
let me hold on a second. Let me look at Benintendi real quick.
That I know is 575. So I was like, geez, that's what I remembered. All right.
Benintendi is making 17.1
Yeah, but
this year. Well,
he
yeah,
signed a
last
5-year, $75 million contract. And Daniel Jones, by the way, 4 years, 160. That's
4 years,
fine.
160. 4 years, 160. That means 40 million a year. Holy fuck. That guy has fucking like seriously some bad video on the owner of the goddamn team or some shit. How the hell can you get 40 million for sucking that bad for 5 years? Oh, it's the rest of the team. It's our fault. Blah, 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 blah. You know, whatever. Jesus.
He signed it when things were looking up. He'd had his best year and even like ran for he's a decent runner. He's not terrible. I mean, he deserves to be a quarterback in the
He deserved to be a backup quarterback in the NFL.
NFL. Probably, yeah.
To be honest with you, I mean, he's like what Frank Reich was in Washington behind somebody else, you know. No, Frank Reich was in Buffalo behind Jim Kelly, I think. I think he was in Washington too. Let's look up Frank Reich. Bitch. And his son right now is trying to make the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
What team's he trying to make? What team's his son trying to make?
His son's trying to make the Bears.
The Bears.
Got Bears. Okay. Yeah, he was with Buffalo for years and years and years, and he was Carolina for a year, the Jets for a year, and Detroit for 2 years.
The San Francisco 49ers before versus 11 midget Ditkas.
Midget guys.
Would Coach Ditka be midget also, or would he be full size? Oh, Coach would be full size. Well, then it's no contest.
Hey, did I tell you I went and saw Robert Schmeigel at the Den Theater?
We did.
Oh my God. Holy my. That was hilarious. That was fully enjoyable. I'm glad I got to do that. I'm glad I saw that. Actually, I think Chris Larkin actually brought it up to me, and I got tickets. He couldn't go, so I ended up taking Tim Mullen with me. And he started the whole show off doing the super fans kind of thing with using some WGN kind of like personalities. And then he had this like Jeopardy game, and Rob Blagojevich was one of the contestants, and somebody from Freaks and Geeks,
The man with no forehead.
and then who was the third person? I can't remember who the might have been Paul Conrad from WG. I don't know. Anyway, it was just really good, intimate atmosphere, and it was just great. It was a lot of fun. One of the best shows I've seen in a long time.
Is Jackie Bang still on WGN?
I don't know. That's usually later at night. I watch the morning stuff. Jackie Bang, you just like her name.
I bet you she's a hot 83-year-old woman now.
Oh wait, Frank Reich, Mark Rippon. Mark Rippon is what I was thinking of the name of, not Frank Reich. Yeah, Rippon was with the Washington Redskins at the time. Now they're the Commanders. Then Cleveland, St. Louis, Philadelphia,
The
St. Louis.
Guardians. The Guardians, right? Oh no, that's
And then he didn't play for 3 years, and then he played for Indianapolis at 39 in 2001. He like retired for 3 seasons and came back for like 1 season. Crazy.
beats own Lady Kenmore's,
To be honest with you, Brett Ripien, his son, is now with the Chicago Bears, and he's like a backup that they signed.
What team's he with?
He's with the Bears now. He was
The
with Denver
Bears.
for the first three. Bears. The first 3 years he was with Denver, and then he was with the Los Angeles Rams last year as a backup. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The kid looked good, and I don't know. I'm not the biggest Tyson Bagent fan, but
You're not the biggest who?
I'm Tyson Bagent. He was like the backup
Oh yeah,
quarterback
yeah.
last year. He was like an undrafted rookie that ended up starting 3 games for us. He did okay, but he didn't blow the world out. I mean, but he's an undrafted rookie. But no, this guy looked polished in that first game in the Hall of Fame game. He just passes were on the dime, ran the offense awesomely. I'm just like, Jesus. Okay, so he's 28 years old. He's a lot older than Tyson, but I mean, this is what you want your backup quarterback to be. So if he's the backup quarterback, I'm totally fine. And Bagent, you know what? If you want, you can go to the practice squad and we'll call you up when we need you.
Hey, I haven't seen any preseason games as far as the kickoffs. Have you seen any kickoffs? How's that work?
Kickers are doing is they're kicking a little higher, ensure on. And then basically it's when the guys can catch the ball is when the players can move. All of a sudden the blockers run back this way, the other guys run up, there's a collision. They don't really get farther than they can. Every once in a while, you're going to see somebody break through that line and they're going to go, but not too often. I think it stifles the kickoff return. It gives you a chance, but not a very good one.
But it's better than what they were doing because
Better than what they were doing because everything was out of the end zone.
it was
I mean,
terrible.
you were getting any kickoff returns.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was
So at least you're going to get that play back.
Yeah, I really
And
like this
you know what?
idea. We'll see how it works. I'm sure that they've watched, video and looked at, stats and like, where should they be? So yeah, I know I like it because like I thought it was awful that the kickoff wasn't even a. It was like a. It was like it was getting to the point where they should have like the intentional walk where they just go like they just do the arm and they don't even have to pitch it like that. That's kind of like what kickoffs had become.
What they did was they took the most exciting play out of the game.
Yeah, it was terrible.
You never know. The game can switch on the matter of a kickoff. And they took that, and that sucked.
Yeah.
And I get the CTE thing and all that. It's like, I understand. Come on.
Well,
You know,
I applaud them for
figure out something else other than taking that
yeah.
play
I
out of the
applaud them
game.
for coming
Figure
up with
out
this.
better helmets.
We'll see how it works, and I'm sure they can like tweak it. Within a 5 yards of how they're where they're going to line up and stuff like that. But at least it's going to be something. So it's actually one of the things I'm curious to watch this year. I'm surprised I haven't seen. I don't think I haven't seen a Jets preseason game yet. There's been a couple on, but I haven't seen a kickoff. I don't watch it like intently. I'm not going to watch like the Cincinnati Bengals like preseason game like every snap. So I'm not that big of a nut.
Yeah, I don't know. I totally get you. Nor am I. Usually what I'm doing is chasing points. I mean, red zone, the red zone network or whatever like that I watch. I might be at the bar. There's two games on TV. I'm looking at the red zone on my iPad, and everybody else is around me watching the same shit. That's pretty much how it rolls.
Fantasy football was the reason that I got my first pair of glasses because I was at Wrigleyville Tap, next to Metro, and I kept getting up and going to the TV like to be able to read the ticker, and then whoever I was with, said like, so like, you probably need glasses, and I was like, no, it's okay if I squint, I can see it. And he's like, yeah, you probably need glasses, and I was like, geez, I never even thought about that because my sight had been it was only in my early 30s or something then. My sight had always been good, and yes, I needed glasses. I didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't even occur to me.
Dude, I was like running around and putting in orders, and it's like 3 weeks in a row I got this fucking order wrong at the same goddamn place. It was like Bud Light instead of Bud. I sent the wrong shit in 3 weeks in a row. The guy's like, "Hey, what the fuck is going on?" And it turned out that I needed readers. I never had bad vision until then, and it was getting to the point where it's like, I think a lot of it has to do with the laptops, the screens, the phones, really stressing the eyes out. And I think it kind of like it fucks people's eyes up, to be honest with you. Because I swear to God, I had great vision. I mean, really good vision way before all this extra stuff came out. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting old too. That could be it.
Mostly
I
that.
didn't need the I didn't need the readers until about 47, 40. Well, actually, it's more like 49 is
Yeah,
when
that
I
sounds
started
about
using
right.
readers. Huh?
When my first pair of glasses, I only needed it for distance. I could see up close just fine, and now my distance is okay, but I can't see
Really?
anything. I can't see anything up close. So it's like, so I asked the
It's
eye
totally
guy.
swapped.
Yeah, and he said that that's normal. That does change like that. So
That's crazy.
yeah. So I mean, my distance is not great, but it's okay. I can get by without it, but I can't read anything up close. I can't see anything. So
What do you like better?
oh, I don't know. I guess the old way was better because I could read without getting my glasses.
Do you like to not see distance and see close? Or would you like to not see close and see distance?
I remember when I got my first pair of glasses, I was walking on Clark Street right near Wrigley, and it was like everything was so bright and cheerful. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize what it's like, hello, Taco Bell, hello, Yum Yum Donuts,
Shit. I got a roster alert. Roster alert. Roster alert.
You know, I think it's so funny is
I
like
got a stat correction of Bobby Witt Jr.
all
And it
these
says,
all these
so
years
I
that
got,
I've come back to Chicago for the beer league draft, I have
huh?
never driven by Wrigley. I have not seen Wrigley Field since 2006 or maybe even before then.
You want to go next
Yeah, I
year?
mean, it's so ridiculous. I realized I've not seen it, so it just exists in my mind. You know, this late '90s. You know, because I used to live there until '90s. I lived there until like '97.
Yeah, man. I mean, next time you're in town, we can just go fucking hang around the neighborhood. That's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's so different now. I mean,
Oh,
when I was
it's
there,
completely different, but I mean, there's still good elements that are still there.
I mean, Yum Yum was still there, and McDonald's. And next to McDonald's was just like an empty lot, I think.
McDonald's is now in a hotel. There's a hotel built there. It's a Hotel Zachary, and they've got like a Smoke Daddy in there. They've got like Swift and Sons, I think, is in there. There's a couple of other places that are in there too, but it's like it's got a bunch of like restaurants in it. There's a Raising Cane's kind of on the corner by Yaxie's. Um,
Yeah, Yaxie's was there when I was there.
I think there's a Culver's over there. I think there might be. Not sure,
There was like Raw
but
Yaxie's, Raw Bar, Wrigleyville Tap, which became Fuel, which
that's
is
all
something
kind of the
else now.
same stuff. Like right there. I mean, it's like the names change, but it's all kind of like the same little group. It's not owned by anything like Wrigley or big corporate. So those bars are still going on.
Ginger Man still there?
But
Or is it a different name? Or
who?
Ginger Man?
The G-Men Tavern.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still there.
So has Phil got like an
They
ownership
kind of
stake in that?
rebranded to the G-Man Tavern, but it was, yeah, that's the Gingerman.
So does Phil have an ownership stake in that one? That's this whole D-Men, G-Men thing?
I think so. Who has an ownership?
Phil.
No, Phil doesn't have an ownership in the G-Man Tavern. No, but it's a Gingerman. It's just the G-Men for short. It's just shit that's evolved over the years.
I used to live right across from G-Men. You know where Wrigley'sville Dog, is that still there?
Yep, absolutely.
There's a building that's just north of that of Wrigley'sville Dog, and that's where I used to live.
No shit.
My store was
Now,
right next to. Well, you know the store.
did you own the collectible store down there?
I owned the store. I didn't own the building. I mean, I was I had a landlord,
Yeah, you owned the store and you had a lease and everything. I
but
understand that.
you know what it was? It was 800 a month.
800 a month is nothing.
I know. I mean, like I thought it was a lot back then, but it would be nothing now.
There were some fucking places in Wicker Park that they were restaurants or clubs and stuff, and they were getting charged like $30,000 a month in rent.
Yeah, I meant my store was 800 a month. My apartment was like 500 a month, maybe 600 a month, something like that.
See, that's like shit. Those were the days, man. Did you make some good sales during like the Cub season?
During the Cubs games, there's a lot of business, and then there was what did I say? Like during like the month of November, I did less in sales than I did during a Cubs game. You know,
So here's the thing. If you were still around here and you were doing stuff online, that business would probably be thriving because you're reaching people online and in the off season and still selling stuff. And then
maybe.
you still have the Cubs. But here's the thing, though, you'd probably be getting charged like $10,000 in.
But you could just buy your books on Amazon or something. Like you don't need to go to the sports bookstore to get.
Well, the other thing though is that you had some collectible stuff too. I mean, you had pictures and signed autograph stuff. And did you do baseball cards as
I
well?
didn't have any signed stuff. I didn't do memorabilia. Just like, I had baseball cards, football cards, just like, like the new sets and stuff, magazines,
Yeah.
posters, art, stuff like that. I had
Yeah.
the fantasy league stat service that I would advertise on a little sandwich board, outside that. And then, I advertised in the fantasy sports magazines and things like that back then. But I thought there was no way that business couldn't work because the stat service paid my rent. I was like, how can this not work? And it didn't work.
The internet came around.
I was going to advertise on the Score, so they sent this like hot chick out to talk to me. And the cheapest thing they had was like their cheapest package was like $1,400, which sounds cheap now, but it didn't sound cheap to me then
No.
for what it was. And I was like, oh my God, I can't afford to advertise in radio. What I learned later on when I did some media buying was that television time was a lot cheaper than you think. And radio time was a lot more expensive than you think, than you thought. Like I could buy TV time. I could buy half hour, granted it wasn't Chicago necessarily, but for like $50 sometimes, $50 for half hour TV. But for radio,
Yeah.
for 30 seconds or 15 seconds, 10 seconds, it was so expensive. I was like, I can't afford that. And I knew
Extravaganza! Come to lose for extravaganza!
I knew I needed to advertise in the radio, but I couldn't. I was like, shit, couldn't do it. I mean, I guess you just have to bite the bullet and hope that it works. But I couldn't take that risk, so I got out. So I was only there for 2.5 years. Something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's where the league started out of, right?
Yeah, well, that's where I met like Chris. But I've talked about this before. I probably would have met Chris even without the store because
Yeah.
he had another, he knew Chad and that whole connection, So
I met Chris about 30 years ago. We were about 25, I think.
1994. That's when I started the store. Was a little less, it was like 30 years ago. Yeah, December '94, I think, is when I moved into that spot.
Those were the days. All right, what do you say we cut this shit? And
Well, let's talk a little basketball. Let's talk about a
you
little.
want to talk basketball?
No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
I'm the wrong
I'm just
guy for
kidding.
that, man.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know shit about shit when it comes to basketball.
I love when they say like the U.S. I'm supposed to be excited. The U.S. beat France in basketball or something. I was like, well, duh. I mean, how exciting is that? Well,
Let me ask you this.
we sent our team and they couldn't win the gold. I mean, come on.
Let me ask you this. What is your favorite part of the Olympics? What was your favorite part, like throughout the
I didn't
Olympics?
watch
Like
any of it.
the things that stuck out to you?
I didn't watch any of it. I watched zero.
You didn't see the French guy pole vaulting and it
No,
had
I
his
didn't see
dong
anything.
knock
I
the
didn't see
fucking
anything.
bar off?
I'm watching baseball, and if I'm not watching baseball, I'm gonna watch football. So
Dude, I'm with you too. I mean, I did catch like some here and there, but I didn't watch a ton of it, to be honest with you. I mean, I just catch bits and pieces, and that was pretty much it.
yeah, I didn't
If
watch
it was
anything.
if it was not like a medal round, I mean, it's like the prelims or the semifinals to get into the final race. Yeah, some of it was cool and shit, but then all of a sudden you got like 3 Americans in the last race.
I'm more
'Cause it-
likely to watch the Winter Olympics, even though it's sort of lame. I mean, the events they have, it's kind of like reminds me of like Taco Bell, different items in the Taco Bell menu. Like they're
I
all
sort of
variations of the same thing, basically. There's only a few
Yeah.
things you can do. You can go down the hill fast on skis, a snowboard, or luge. You can do skating and
Yeah.
hockey.
But here's the thing, it's just as good as the Summer Olympics, it's just different sports, and it's kinda like all balanced the same way.
But I'm
I
just saying,
love the
I'm
Winter
more.
Olympics just as much as I love the Summer Olympics. The great thing about the Olympics is when you're sitting in a bar, having a beer, and the Olympics are on, everybody in that place is rooting for the fucking same thing. You know? It just everybody just drops what their bullshit is, and they're rooting for, your person to come in. And if there's somebody here from a foreign government or not foreign government, just like a foreign land, like somebody's like, they're from Greece or they're from Italy, and that person's in the league in the race too. They're rooting for them. So be it. Eh, Just enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. It's just enjoyable. I like the Olympics.
You're a more agreeable person because if I see somebody rooting against the USA and they're in my country, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You know?
Really? Kick them right out.
No, I was gonna say the reason I watch
You gotta give
the
people their
reason I
pride.
watch the Winter Olympics more is because like there's not, baseball's not on in the winter. I'm more open to other viewing. My basketball and hockey aficionado-ship is lower than my baseball. So.
I gotta be honest with you, man. I knew everything about hockey up until about 7 years ago. And for some reason, I don't know if I just got busy or what, or it was just like, I don't know what the fuck it was, but like, I just either got spoiled. I don't know. I fell out of love with hockey for a little bit. I really, and, I love the game. No, I didn't fall out of love with hockey. I just fell out of love with the Blackhawks for a moment. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing, And I didn't like Stan Bowman.
Hockey was the first sport that my oldest son got into, and my younger son never got into sports. So it's really my older son that was the big sports guy. And hockey was the first one he got really into. Now he's not into
Mm,
hockey at all now. I mean, he follows probably the NBA most, and baseball second, and football a little bit, and hockey almost not at all. But when he was into hockey, I got into it. And
sure.
so we used to go to games and stuff like that. But so since he doesn't since he doesn't care so much about it, I mean, I still follow it. I still know what the Islanders are doing on a basic level, but you know, I don't
Dude, there was a
follow it.
time where I knew who all the fucking like the guys in the minor leagues and all that stuff. Kind of like how baseball now. It's like you follow that, but I kind of did that with hockey for a while and kept really big tabs on who was who and blah blah blah. And I can't do it anymore.
You
It's
know,
just too much.
Connecticut doesn't have the Whalers anymore, but we do have the Rangers minor league teams in Hartford, and the Islanders minor league team plays in Bridgeport, which is the terrible city that I was born in. And
Mm,
so we used to go to a game a year down Bridgeport Sound Tigers and see them, and it was exciting because you would see players that would make it the Islanders. There's still guys in the Islanders that we saw back then, like Cizikas or whatever. But yeah, I guess when my son's not into it, then I fell back into my original ways, which was like hockey was really secondary to me. So that's where I am now.
yeah, I get, I get it.
I still like it. I just don't follow
I
it.
do too.
I just
I
don't
do
follow
too.
it.
To be honest with you, I haven't been to a game in like 2 or 3 years. I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, gee.
Um,
I guess it's probably been not 10 years, but it's been approaching 10 years since I've been to any sort of a hockey game.
oh shit.
That's crazy. Yeah. And we used to go to Quinnipiac hockey, Yale hockey each year. We go to one of these, and South
Now I
Coast
have to
and the
like so
Islanders.
when you come in for the draft, I gotta kind of keep an eye on like tickets for a hockey game. Seriously.
Yeah, even the Nets. I don't
Could
think
you
I've
imagine doing
seen.
that on a Saturday night before the draft? Wait, Saturday night after the draft, Friday night before the draft. Could you imagine if the Blackhawks were playing at the United Center and we can go, me, you, and Norm, and go see, or maybe one more, and go see the Blackhawks play on a Friday night?
How expensive is it now?
Depends on how resourceful you are.
That's what I used to love about the Quinnipiac and Yale. They're both top hockey programs, and we used to go to see them play, and we would get seats to see Quinnipiac hockey, like right on the glass, for first row, and the kids loved it. They were little, they're not following hockey, but to have the guys like crash on the glass right in front of us and knock our drinks off the little ledge there, like, oh, they loved that. Those seats were $11. I mean, granted, that was like, I don't know, 12 years ago, or maybe a little bit more than that, 15 years ago, but $11. And I was like, God, in the NHL, these would be, I don't know. I mean, back then, even they would have been over $100. And I'm sure now they'd be even more than that, right?
Right. Do you see some of these like, okay, I don't know if you watch much of this online, but did you ever see these like really high grade cards that are coming out, like that people are doing these breaks online and they're opening up this box that's like $5,000. It's got like 8 cards in it. They're all like thick and they have like game worn jerseys and signatures and shit all over them, and some of them are one of one. Did you ever see this shit?
No, what's it on?
Oh my God. It's can't remember the names of the companies. It's just there's a lot of clips online about like, and this is like what's going on in the card industry right now, is that these there's these companies that have these cards that are like, they're really thick. They have like game worn jerseys. So there was one that was LeBron. I think it went for like, it's like $4 million card. It was a one of one, and it was the NBA logo off of 3 of his jerseys. And it was on the same card, and it was signed. And it was a one of one. And then somebody opened that box, got that card, and boom, there you go.
I love that there are people out there who are willing
That
to
would
pay.
pay that much for a
Yeah,
fucking card.
because you talk about taxing the rich. Well, maybe you just got to give them a card to do it. So
Yeah. That's somebody that's like Silicon Valley that has way more money than they know what to do with, or they're Bitcoin fucking rich.
but make no mistake, that's a good thing. It's a good thing that there's people that are that crazy. Because if they were like me, even if I had tons and tons of money, I would not pay $4 million for a LeBron
Fuck no.
or a Tom Seaver or a Steve Henderson or a Lenny Dykstra. I wouldn't pay any. I wouldn't pay that kind of money.
God damn it. Bobby Witt has been downgraded to day from healthy. What the fuck could that be?
Well, if he can play, he'll play because they're not in last place this year.
The guy's a gamer. Love him. That's the one guy that's like absolutely untouchable for my team. Him and Juan Soto for right now.
So how about if I give you
Juan
Alonzo
Soto
for him?
cost me a lot of money.
What if I give you Alonzo and Michael Garcia for him? How about that
For Soto?
for Witt?
Oh fuck no.
Come on, you said you wanted to do a trade.
No.
All
Not
right,
that type of trade.
I'll throw in a I'll throw
I
in
don't
an
want to
NA guy.
trade. Huh?
I'll throw in an NA guy. How about shortstop for the Cubs in the minor leagues
You know what NA means? Nah.
there? Well, now on my team was Corbin Carroll, Francisco Alvarez, Ellie De La Cruz, Michael Harris, Shall I go on? Kobe Mayo.
You don't have any of those guys.
I'm saying, but those were all my NA guys at one point.
Yeah. Don't you wish you had a few of them back?
No, fuck them.
Not at all.
They're not gaggers.
Oh no.
Once you get traded, you're done forever. I have no feeling for you whatsoever.
That's the way I am with pitchers that get me like -20 in a game. Oh man. Oh, that's spiteful. I really hold it against them. And it's like, you know what? Unless you're Drew Thorpe, who's really young right now and hurt, yeah, you're done.
So Chris Bassett's first start for me, he like allowed like 5 or 6 or 7 runs in the first inning.
That's a stinger.
And then he complained about the fact that the reason that he didn't pitch well was because the retractable roof was closed, and then his pitches don't move as many centimeters. When I was like, oh Jesus Christ!
Here
I
we
wish I
go.
could drop your ass right now.
Oh, it's totally bad.
I may drop him.
Making up excuses for his poor play.
I just traded for him, and I may end up dropping him.
The White Sox beat the shit out of the Yankees 12-2.
Nice.
What the fuck is going on? Grady Sizemore, manager of the year.
I've got 5 position players in the White Sox on my team, and in my roto AL. Hopefully, some of those guys did something.
Oy. All right, well, I have to get going here. I've been grinding since like 8 in the morning.
All right. Well, let's finish up talking about soccer. No, that's all right. Okay,
Soccer.
Jeff. See you next week. I'll see if Chad is up to it, or
Yeah, why don't we see if Chad can come on? I
yeah,
want to see him.
Chad or Norm. I think those are the only one-timers that haven't done it twice.
Let's check in with Chad before anybody.
Yep.
Yeah. And if he can't do it, and Norm can't do it, maybe Mr. Larkin.
Yeah, we'll make the rounds again.
Yeah.
We'll go to our two-timers that
I
haven't
think
done it 3 times.
Sean's on his third, right? And so is Phil.
Phil's done it 3. Sean's done it 3. Oh, and Kimmler. Kimmler's only done it once, so he would be another guy we could.
So he'd be another guy in the mix for one. What about Paul?
Paul's done it twice, I think.
I think really. Yeah. Well, cool, man. All right. Well, you have a wonderful week.
All right.
I wish you all the best.
All right. Home field advantage in fantasy football, man. So
I hope I get the 6-0 and you get the 5-1.
So you're pro HFA now. All right, that's good.
HFA?
Home field advantage.
A2FA?
HFA and FF.
No, home field advantage sucks. Sorry. It just sucks.
I'm going to think about your 6-6 thing, though. I like that. It takes away some of the luck of the regular season. It's nice.
You cut your league in half. Half them go to the toilet bowl, half them go to the fucking upside, and then you make it work.
We could make a formal relegation arrangement. Like if people finish in the bottom half of your league, then they have to play in my league for a
year. Yeah, but then they have to do like home field advantage and shit, so that's not gonna work. All right, man. Well, hey, take care.
Hey, good luck.
Hope
You
you
went 5-1 last week, so you had a good week. So maybe keep it going. He wasn't 6-0, but 5-1.
I know. I leapfrogged Sean a little bit. I'm hoping some of these overages come back and come back to haunt people, and that the people I stream as pitchers get me lots of points instead of no points, because that seems to be a thing.
And next week, I'm going to look at the past 30 days, because that'll be almost since the All-Star break. It'll be like the Saturday after the All-Star break on. That'll be, I think that's 30. Yeah, that'll be 30 days.
All right.
So
interesting.
Instead of looking at points for the year, we'll,
Look, see who our second half warriors are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll take a look at that.
All right, Jeff.
All right,
See
buddy.
you.
All right, see you on the other side.
All right, take it easy.
See ya.